Blog Talk Radio.
What's going on, folks? It's your boy, Long Beach Joe, back at it. All right, it is time. We are talking Raiders, Jets today. Okay, we got a game coming up. And, I'm giving us a lot more of a chance than other people are. I will say that. I think that this is a Jets team that, could do some things in this football game. But, again, we're going up against a Raiders team that's serious business as well. So we're going to go ahead and get into it. Listen, I'm the man of the people. I'm here for the people. Let me shamelessly promote my Facebook page. Everyone go on Facebook, search The Long Beach Joe Show. Like that page. My content's up there. Go ahead and give it a listen. Message me. I'll message you right back. I love going back and forth with folks about this football team. Also, leave me some feedback. I love hearing about what you folks think I do here on The Long Beach Joe Show. So without further ado, folks, let's go ahead and get into the show. I'm fired up. All right, listen, we got a game coming up. Everyone's wondering, hey, can the Jets finally get their first win? We're a team right now that's clearly we've struggled. We've struggled all season. We've had major issues, particularly in the offensive side, and we haven't been able to get ourselves a W, man. Our roster's not looking good. The coaching has been horrific. But this week is a week that we can go out there and turn it around. This week we can go out there. If we can put together a complete game, we have a chance. We have a chance to get our first W of the season. And I think that, I think we can do it. I really do. But before we get deep into that, all right, we all know here on the Long Beach Joe Show, we're big about charity. We're big on helping, our community and doing whatever we can. And so, in December, Christmas time, in honor of that, I'm going to have someone come on, Mark V. Lee of the Mark V. Lee Toy Drive. He's going to talk to us about the Toy Drive, how exactly we can get involved, and what we can do to continue, to help kids have a great Christmas. So, Mark, I want to welcome you to the Long Beach Joe Show. How are you doing today, my friend?
Long Beach Joe, got a great ring to it, buddy. How are you?
I'm all right. And Mark, again, I want to welcome you in, but I want you to tell my listeners, I want you to give us a little bit of background on the Mark V. Lee Toy Drive.
Yeah, so this drive, my father started back in 1985, just with a couple local families in the neighborhood that were in, need during the holiday season, and it just kind of grew from there. Every year, it just got bigger and bigger. He passed away in 2014 due to 9/11 related illnesses. He then did about 2,500 kids the year that he passed. My mom and myself took over that drive that year, and we did a little over 5,500. Last year,
wow,
we were up to last year we did a little close to 8,000 kids. Man, we took care of for the holiday season. So it's growing. It's a great cause that we do here in Jersey City. Myself and the Jersey City Fire Department. And I appreciate all your help every year, getting the word out there.
Yeah, absolutely, Mark. Wow, when you bring up those numbers, 8,000 kids, what an impact you're making, and what a Christmas that you're giving to all those children that, some of them may not have gotten any toys or, had a good time or had a Christmas outside of that. What are some of your fondest memories of the toy drive, though, Mark?
Every year, you have something, whether you give a bike away or, and like you said, some of these kids have nothing, come holiday season.
Mm-hmm.
So just a smile on their faces every year is what, motivates me and the guys that I work with here to kind of keep giving back to the community. It's just, it's a big part of what we do here in Jersey City and part of the fire department, and we're going to continue it as long as we can, even in the face of, the middle of this pandemic, which has become a little problematic. Tough, you got to adhere to the social distancing and the mask requirements and everything. So, but we're going to get it done, man. We keep marching on.
Yeah, and that's what it's all about. Like you said, just keeping and pushing everything that you and the fire department are doing as well to continue to help the children that are definitely in need. How can my listeners get involved with the toy drive? Where can they donate? Where could they send, any kind of funds that they want to send as well to help support that way?
So any monetary donation you can send to 465 Marin Boulevard. I believe it's 07306, the area code. That's our fire headquarters. They know that the drive that we do, and, over the years, like you said, it helped us out. People have sent in donations. It goes right there. They make sure they get it to me. If anybody wants to bring in a toy, any firehouse in Jersey City, if you're passing by or visiting for the holidays or whatever it may be, stop in, drop off a toy in the firehouses. They know how to get in contact with me. I also, this year, like we were talking about, as far as COVID was concerned, we set up a virtual drive linked up with a company called DonateAToy.org, which has Toys for Tots linked for it, and any toy that is donated off of that website, they'll match to our drive 1 for 1. I have the link on my Facebook page, Instagram, which is at Mark_Vincent. You reach me there, and just click on the link, click donate, and any toy that is purchased, Toys for Tots will match 1 for 1.
Yeah. That is wonderful, and as well for everyone that is listening, if you go on my social media as well, whether it be the shows or my personal, our Facebook page, or our Instagram as well, we'll be putting that out too. And that's wonderful. That's a beautiful thing to be doing. And again, Mark, I want to thank you for everything that you are doing, along with the fire department as well, to help these children have a great Christmas. Now, before I'll let you go, you're a Jets fan, just like I'm a Jets fan. So we got to talk about this team for a second. I know, oof is right. Oh man, oof, oof. This season has not looked good, but I want to get your thoughts on this season, and I want to get your thoughts on Adam Gase.
I don't understand how he's still the coach, to be honest with you. You see other teams all over the NFL making proper adjustments, firing their coaches and kind of, going with the next best guy. Mm-hmm. I don't know how he's still here. I mean, you listen to his post-game press conferences that he holds, and the guy can't even, tell the truth about him not calling the plays.
Oh.
You're ruining Sam Darnold here. He's regressed. He's not progressed. If we keep tanking for number 1 here, I think obviously Lawrence is going to be the guy. What do you get for Sam? What do we do with Sam? The guy, he was a number 3.
So are you effectively, you're ready to move on from him, Mark? Is that what you're saying? You're ready to move on from him? You think, hey, Sam's too far gone. It's time to move on. Let's just draft Lawrence and then go forward. Of course, after firing Adam Gase, let's just move forward and trade Sam for whatever you can get for him.
Yes, I think that if we wind up finishing with the number 1 pick, you got to go with Lawrence there at 1. And then, what do you get for Sam? Which is hard because he hasn't played all regular season games since he started his career. He's been out a few games here and there every season. Last week, he had all his weapons at his disposal. He still didn't make great decisions with the football. What do you do? Do you play him? Do you win a football game? Do you give him the opportunity to win and possibly not get us the number 1 pick to show what he had? It's a tough situation. I like the kid. I think he seems like a really great guy. But as far as a team point of view, what do you do with him? I mean, do we get a second round for him? Do we get a third round for him? His play, I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's a tough question. That's a really tough question. I'm a guy that's a little bit, on the other side of that fence. I think that he's a guy that we could move forward with, but we definitely have got to better the football team around him. I think there's been major issues, particularly coaching-wise, roster-wise. His offensive line's trash. And I don't excuse him of some of the play, but I think that some of the bad plays or some of the things that we saw, a big hindrance to him has been his awful coaching and the offensive roster, or the awful offensive roster as well. It's pretty bad, but we'll see how we handle it going forward. I know a lot of fans as well that think, hey, we should move on. Trevor Lawrence should be the guy, and that should be it. So I definitely hear where you're coming from there, Mark. But
Now, what do you think?
But again,
go ahead. If we wind up at 1, if we wind up with the first overall pick, and you say you do want to move on with Sam, do you trade out of that 1 spot for more picks? How do you see that playing out?
Yeah, that's a great question. That's exactly what I would do. And I've been kind of, talking about it because, this season has been horrific. It's been bad, man.
Yeah.
So talking about the games is really tough. So, we were pretty much talking about the offseason damn near week 3, But I've talked about that, taking that pick, and can you imagine if we took that number 1 pick, and I know you're a Jets, you're crazy about the Jets just like I am. If you can end up getting 2 to 3 first-round picks and a couple second-round picks and some thirds and all these things, you're basically getting 2 or 3 drafts worth of picks for this one, spot to move down. Yeah, can you pass that up though? Because Mark and I, we have issues we have next to no, weapons offensively. Our wide receiver, outside of Mims, Crowder, who's going to be a year older, there's big speculation. Who else is there? We don't really have a number 1. Our offensive line is horrific. We need so many pieces, so many things. And then we're not even talking about the defense, though, because the defense is playing well. But a lot of guys that are here, not just offensively, but also defensively, are on 1-year deals. Marcus Mays also coming up for a deal as well. So there's a lot of issues. We're talking about our corners. They're young. But, and I know a lot of people say, hey, we still need a number 1 and 2 corner. We still don't have a pass rusher. We still don't have, things, that winning teams need.
You
know what I'm saying? So,
exactly.
Yeah.
I know.
So I look at it like if you can trade that pick and get it. Go ahead.
No, we debate about this. Me and my fellow Jet fans. We debate about whether we would trade out of 1. Some guys say Lawrence is a generational talent. You gotta go with him at 1. Some guys, talking tanking for Trevor. Some guys, want to trade. Like you said, you can get 2 drafts technically in 1 draft with all the picks if you trade out of the first pick.
Yeah.
And that would help us out across the board with more needs in different areas. Like you said, cornerback and wide receiver. We do have a lot of money in free agency that we can spend on some high-level talent. Whether these guys want to come and play for us is a different story. It's a weird situation that we're in, but I think Trevor Lawrence is definitely a talent. Is he the guy that's gonna, is he gonna bring us leaps and bounds though? His rookie and sophomore season, I'm not sure. Because
the question is, can he?
That we need.
Yeah. The question is, can he? And that's a great. Exactly, and that's why I'm going to keep kicking out that take as we go further, into the season. But like you just said, is can he take us leaps and bounds in his, that freshman sophomore year in the NFL? And the question is, will he have the roster? And if he doesn't, can he do that with basically what we have with maybe a couple more pieces added just from the regular draft that we have? And you don't know, but we'll see what happens when we go forward. But
that's all dependent on Joe Douglas. I know a lot of people have faith in Joe Douglas here. He's made some good picks, some questionable, letting Robbie go. And I know he's done a show where he's actually come out and talked about that mistake about not giving Robbie another opportunity. But at least he's a man to, what Robbie's doing over in Carolina. You have that guy on the outside of Mims, and, maybe a little bit different story this year.
Yeah, but Carolina also has other weapons too. Carolina's also, coached better than we are as well.
Do.
So
I mean, look,
that might lend to my point of, trading back.
That's it.
That might lend to my point right there.
On the offense? Who's been the best player on the offense so far? Frank.
To me, it's Mekhi Becton.
To
me, it's been Mekhi
Becton. Unbelievable.
Yeah, he's unbelievable. Unbelievable left tackle.
He's another guy. That was a great pick. He was the pick that I wanted. I know a couple guys were looking at Wirfs, and who was the other kid? Thomas. But I'm glad we went with Becton. So the kid is the kid's a talent for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Mark, again, listen, I want to thank you for calling in. If you can give my listeners, again, just your social media and where they can contact you and how they can get involved in the toy drive, it'd be phenomenal. Again, thank you for coming on.
No, of course. Listen, guys, anybody that wants to send any monetary donations, you can send to 465 Marin Boulevard in Jersey City, New Jersey. That's our fire headquarters. If you want to donate a toy, you can go to, if you buy your own, you can stop at any firehouse in Jersey City, drop it off. They'll know where to get it to. You can also log on or, check out my Facebook page or Instagram, which is Mark_Vincent. I have the link there for donatatoy.org. The link on the page goes to to our drive, so just don't go to donatatoy.org. Make sure you click that link so the toys come directly to this drive. And any donations bought off that website, Toys for Tots will match 1-for-1.
Yeah. Again, Mark, I want to thank you for coming on. It's phenomenal, everything you're doing. Again, everybody knows we're going to continue to show support to the Mark V. Lee Toy Drive as well. Thank you for coming on again, Mark, and you have a good night.
Joe, thank you for having me, buddy. Always a pleasure. I'll talk to you soon. Go Jets.
Yeah. Go Jets. You have a good one. Whew. Let me tell you something. Mark V. Lee, the Mark V. Lee Toy Drive. Again, everyone, get involved any way you can. I'm going to blast it again across our social media so you'll be able to go there and click that link, like you said, and get involved with everything that they are doing. That is a phenomenal, phenomenal charity. I love what they do, and I love getting involved and just spreading the word with everything that they're doing over there. Salute to Mark V. Lee, and also salute to the Jersey City Fire Department. Hey, if you have a toy, monetary, anything, take it to a fire department, and they'll make sure to get it to them. So now with that said, let me tell you something. We got to get back to talking about these Jets. Okay. We got to get back to talking about these Jets, sadly. I know I got a lot of callers on the line. I will get to everybody. Please just be patient. I will get to you. I promise. Let me tell you something. This team right now, a lot of issues here. All right. A lot of issues. We're going into this Raiders game. We put Alex Lewis on the non-football injury list. There's a lot of rumors swirling around about what happened with him. Him talking to Gaze. Supposedly they had, got into it, and he told Gaze, hey, I should have left when Jamal left. Whoa. And Gaze had a response to that. There was also, rumors swirling around about him getting into it with Joe Flacco as well, in a parking lot, so he's away from the team now. He's not, he hasn't been practicing. So he's definitely not going to play in this game. They're going to start Pat Elfin in his absence. We also know that Fant was dealing with some injuries as well, had some issues, but guess what? He's going to be playing. They've cleared him. There's just a lot of stuff going on, man. A lot of stuff going on with this football team. Adam Gase has come out, talked about how he failed Sam Darnold. Nothing new there. Guy's an idiot. Adam Gase failed Sam Darnold. Adam Gase has failed everybody. There's been nobody that has been successful in his scheme, outside of Peyton Manning, who wasn't even running his scheme. But that's the only guy that's ever been successful. So let me go ahead and get to the callers because I want to talk to y'all about this game. I want to talk to you folks about everything surrounding the New York Jets. And the first guy I'm going to go to, top of the list, is my guy, Rich. Rich, calling in. Salute to you, my man. It's good to talk to you tonight. How are you doing tonight, Rich?
Joseph, I've missed you. I know you've probably been thinking what happened to me. I was locked up for impersonating a football fan. No. I've been so busy lately that I haven't had a chance to. I've been watching your shows after the fact, but I haven't been able to watch them on their live. But I'm glad that tonight was an exception. So it's good to be back and talking to you finally. And I just want you to know that a few years ago in my first marriage, my first wife caught me cheating, and then for 2 years she knew it, and then I told her at the end, I failed you as a husband, and she said everybody saw that. This is just a very bad joke of the equivalent to Adam Gase saying he failed Sam Darnold. Ridiculous.
I mean, it's mind-boggling, Rich, to see. I mean, you're basically telling people exactly what they already knew. They already knew that you were a bad coach. They knew, that you didn't understand truly how to develop Sam Darnold or his talent. This is one of the reasons why I spoke out against bringing in Adam Gase from the very beginning. I knew that his system wouldn't fit Sam Darnold. It's a stagnant system with no motions. The system is literally built for Peyton Manning. If you look at exactly what Peyton Manning does, where you come out, he was allowed to audible in the system. That was a big thing. But If you look what Peyton Manning does, he likes everything to stay exactly how it is. He'd read a defense because he was just beyond brilliant. He watched tape even in his sleep. He was just, that's how Peyton played. Well, in this league, in this football league, you have to make adjustments to what your offensive personnel does well, right? If you always tell people this, situation, if you look at Lamar Jackson, if you look what the Ravens have done with him, if you ask Lamar Jackson to just be a stand-in-the-pocket quarterback, be a statue, he wouldn't be as successful as he is with Baltimore because they allow him to use his legs, use his athletic ability to really scorch the defense. And then that puts the defense in situations where they have multiple things that they have to worry about with him. That allows that offense to become more than dynamic because you have to worry about him running. You have to worry about him getting out the pocket and making a play. And also, he still can throw from within the pocket now as well because they've put weapons around him and allowed him to continue to mature as a young QB. Here, you don't have to worry about much of none of that, especially with some of the things that they run as well. They run RPOs out there. Their running game is ran off of a lot of things that he does as well. It's just trickery and confusion. There's no trickery and confusion here. There's horrific offensive coaching and horrific offensive game planning. And then he gets up there and lies as well last week about, Loggins calling the plays. We know when it's your offense, Gaze, because it looks like an Adam Gaze offense. It's just mind-boggling, man. I'm telling you, I'm over it, Rich. I'm ready to lose it. I'm ready to lose it.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Joe, right? If I say, as the head coach, okay, Joe, you're going to call the plays, right? And millions of people on national TV see you standing there with no clipboard in your hand and your mouth is completely still. How is it that you were calling the plays? Do they have a special thing hooked up to your hat that reads it from your mind and then goes through the headset, the quarterback, or what?
It's telepathy. It's telepathy.
Oh.
I send it in through my brain. I think really hard, and then boom, everybody knows what I just called.
Literally everybody.
That's how they did
on the defensive side too. Yeah, everybody knows.
On the defensive side.
So
it's mind-boggling.
Listen, I've been, like I said, the last few weeks I've been like busy with work and stuff, right? And so I whitewash the Jets games nowadays because it's already like the only game that was anything near interesting was the New England game, and beyond that, it's just been same old thing. And the caller that you had on before, right? I was thinking because today they were talking about that on ESPN radio. The same thing. Do the Jets give up on Darnold, and do they draft Trevor Lawrence? Well, here's the problem, right? Let's say you trade Sam Darnold to the 49ers, for example, who right now are dying to get away from Jimmy G and anybody else.
Jimmy G, yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Let's say you trade him over there. A couple of years from now, Sam Darnold is in the Super Bowl, and we're here with Trevor Lawrence and his family talking about what could be if we get things together. I'll give you another example.
Yeah.
What if we trade him to Pittsburgh? Same situation. A couple years from now, Pittsburgh Steelers are going to the Super Bowl being led by Sam Darnold, and the Jets are here with Trevor Lawrence and nothing else. So the hope that I have is, because the only other poorly run franchise, I mean, there's a lot of them in the NFL, but in terms of like right there neck and neck with the Jets right now, is the Jacksonville Jaguars. So I'm just hoping that the Jaguars will finance their whole entire future and say, we need that number one pick because we were stupid enough to win one game and you guys didn't. And we will give you everything for the next 3 years, whatever, so we can have Trevor. Because honestly, you could say, oh, Trevor Lawrence is a generational athlete. Oh, he's a generational quarterback. He's going to do this. He's going to do that. Ain't nobody going to do nothing without any weapons. Period. End of story. That's why Tom Brady is a Buck and not a Patriot this year and next year either. Because last year he had no weapons, right? And he said, you know what? I want to play, but I don't want to play like this. So I'm out of here.
Yeah.
So, again, you can say whatever you want. It's Patrick Mahomes, for example. Great quarterback, but guess what? He has a lot of weapons around him. A lot.
And a great offensive mind as well.
Exactly. So if you have you could be the greatest quarterback to ever set cleat to turf, but if you don't have those other necessities around you, it ain't going to make a difference. So for the people out there that are like, no, you have to take Trevor Lawrence. You have to get rid of Sam Darnold. Just remember, you're bringing in Trevor Lawrence to the same exact situation. That's it. Maybe, there'll be a different coach. Sure, of course. Because what else does Adam Gase have to do to basically, put the final nail in his own coffin? Like, does he have to come out and say, I think Christopher Johnson's an idiot for giving me a job? I'm just letting you guys know the truth. So but again,
listen, Rich. You're speaking the absolute truth, man. You're speaking the truth, and you've got a great take and a great point there. It's going to be tough going forward. We're definitely going to talk about that. I want to talk to you about the game coming up, though. I want to get your thoughts. You look at the situation. We were just talking about the offense, the issues there. But I'll tell you what, there's been a playmaker. Mims really has stepped up this season. I've been very excited about him. We all kind of felt like he hasn't gotten the ball enough at times. But going against this Raiders team, I think he has some favorable matchups there. Do you think he breaks 100 yards in this week's game against the Raiders?
He should. And if he doesn't, I want him to do like Keyshawn Johnson and write a book about it. Okay? Because at this rate, Mims has been absolutely great from what I've seen. That every time the ball is thrown his way, he makes things happen. So he's got this favorable matchup, so he should, without any problem, cross the 100 yards, catching and stuff like that. But the thing is that we just need more plays through the air. I'm tired of seeing Gore up the middle, Gore to the right, Gore this. I'm like, is it 2003? Like, what is this? Just let Frank Gore, when we're at a 2nd and 3, you can use Frank Gore. 3rd and 1, even. But why is it first down? Okay, let's do a running play. First down, let's do a running play. Why? I mean, I just hope that at this rate, they'll start to I've been saying this for the last 3 months and nothing's happened, but we could all wish that they finally see the error of their ways and say, you know what, we need to throw the ball more. And Sam just needs to realize that he has to stop throwing across his body because that never works. So that's something that's his own fault. So let's just hope. I mean, all we could hope for at this rate is that Sam Darnold is just auditioning to keep his job.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of is what it is. You look at the defensive side. Let me ask you, this is going to be my last question for you before I let you go, but do you think that Quinnen will be able to wreak havoc in this football game? How many sacks do you think he gets against these Raiders?
I think I could give him at least 3. They haven't been, they haven't been the Raiders. People look at the Raiders like, they beat Kansas City once and they almost beat them twice. Well, I saw the second game. Yeah. And the defense was getting to Carr. So Carr is good, don't get me wrong, and they have a pretty okay offensive line, but Quinnen Williams is a beast. So I could give Quinnen Williams at least 3 sacks on this game. Easily. Okay. And so before I let you go, what is your final score prediction for the Jets versus the Raiders? All right. I'll make it quick. I'll say 28-7.
28-7. Okay. Raiders. 28-7 Raiders. All right, Rich. Rich, man, I want to thank you for calling in tonight. It was phenomenal to speak to you. Bro, I got to hear from you more often, my man. I love hearing your perspective about the New York Jets and just the future of where we're going, man. Again, I want to thank you for calling in, my friend.
Thank you for having me on, and don't worry. I'll be back more regularly.
All right. Well, you have a good night, man.
You too. Take care.
Rich calling in. Listen, we're going to keep going with the callers. Rich calling in. He's spitting his takes. He took the Raiders. I got a feeling a lot of people are going to take the Raiders tonight, and I understand it. I understand it. But listen, before I get back to the callers, I'm going to go to my savages in the chat real quickly. If this is your first time listening to me, while I do the Blog Talk Radio, everybody's on, we're having fun. I also live stream too. So I got my guys in the chat. I call them the savages. Why? Because they're savage. They don't care. Nobody's safe out here. They get it everybody. Okay? They get it everybody. Beginning to end. It does not matter. You throw a take out there they don't like, they're going to let you know about it. So I'm going to talk to my savages really quickly. Danny Odell, salute to you, Danny. Thank you for, joining the stream. Danny says, Joe, do you believe that the reason Sam is not succeeding is his fault or the Jets organization as a whole? That's a good question there, Danny. I think, I think it's more on the Jets organization due to the fact that we're trash. Like, just what we've done here. Bringing in Adam Gase was an idiotic idea. The fact that we didn't have enough weapons, the fact that we only drafted one wide receiver that was literally in a draft that was touted as one of the deepest wide receiver classes as far as talent in NFL history, I think was a big mistake. I think that, our offensive line has had issues. Not correcting that has been a big mistake, too. There's been big issues. Yes, Sam has not necessarily played his best all the time, but, bro, he's been hindered quite a bit. And I'm just honest about it. Again, I don't take away, some of the bad plays that he's made. I don't, make excuses for him. But, my goodness, man, the things we've done organizationally have been horrific. We put him in a really bad position, and I don't think we've done enough to make sure that he can succeed here. I really, really don't, So, kind of is what it is. I'm going to go to my second guy, Jacobs. Yo, salute to you. Avromi Jacobs, I hope I pronounced that correctly. Another savage in the chat says, Adam Gase has been successful at one thing, and that is making Chris Johnson look like a complete idiot. Listen, they get at you. That's the facts. That's the truth. That's just the absolute truth of the matter. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Chris Johnson looks ridiculous, and that's why the next guy that the Jets bring in here, we need to make sure that we allow Joe Douglas to make the decision because Chris Johnson should have nothing to do with our next head coaching hire because they clearly have shown you over and over again they have no clue of what they're doing and they're going to make the worst decision that they can make. Whether it be, bringing in Adam Gase or not getting rid of Mike McCagney before we should have. It was just ridiculous stuff. But I'm going to get back to these callers. Salute to every savage in the chat. I will get to y'all. You know what I'm saying? Keep on doing your thing. People are going crazy in there, giving me your take. But I got to get back to these callers. So the next caller I'm going to get to, my guy Elias, man. Elias is calling in. He's got takes, and I want to hear from him. Elias, I want to thank you for calling in tonight. What are your thoughts about the Jets-Raiders game we got coming up?
What's going on, Joe? How you doing, man?
I'm all right. How about yourself, my friend?
I'm doing good. Kind of excited for the game. Hopefully another loss. Hopefully the young guys play well. Just waiting for the season to be over. But I'm basically just watching these games so I can call into your show afterwards because that's definitely a good time, especially more than the game. So.
Well, thank you. Thank you. It's tough. It's tough. I'll be with y'all again this week watching this game with y'all, but, it is tough. But I tell you what, we all get to sit down and talk about what we saw there and, trade takes. But I want to get your thoughts on this, Elias, sticking with this game. Do you think that this is a game where Darnold can come out and really get some things going early and, put some points on the board?
It's tough. I wouldn't be. I hope so. I feel bad for the kid what we've done to him. Sending up with Gase and stuff. But man, we've been anticipating that every game this year, and it just hasn't really happened. Like he hasn't really been playing. He hasn't really what's his best game? Like he had a decent game against the Niners, but it was all short stuff, which wasn't really his fault. It was just Gase calling him, bubble screens to Chris Hogan, and don't get me started on that. But he got really today too. But whatever. He balled out against the Raiders big time last year, but this is a different Raider team. So
yeah,
and they got some guys, especially a couple guys on defense. I'm pretty worried about. Max Crosby's a beast. Who else? Farrell. So not bad pass rush. They got some decent guys on that defense. Corey Littleton at linebacker. But their offense is what scares me more a bit. But especially Darren Waller, that dude's a monster.
Yes.
Josh Jacobs has been playing, but they run the ball pretty effectively. And their offensive line is very good too, especially when the previous caller was talking about Quinn Williams doing really well. I can see him doing really well, but especially like that offensive line is really good, especially guys like Rodney Hudson. I don't know what to do with Richie Incognito, but he's a good player too. So, yeah, I'm just hoping to see some young guys playing well.
Yeah. And, and it's great that you talk about young guys playing well. And one of the parts of this football team that I want to see, really how they function, like you talked about with these offensive players for the Raiders, is our cornerbacks. I want to see how they function when they get tested this week, because you talked about this offense. Their offensive line is solid. Waller, very good tight end in this league, big body. I mean, and he can move. After he catches the football, like, he can move, and let me tell you something. You try to go high on him, he will dust you off, run you right over, and keep it moving. But they also got some guys at wide receiver that I think can do some things too. Aguilar is a guy that can make plays. He's done decently this year, with them. Winfro is a guy as well. He's being moved around. He comes out the slot from time to time. He can make plays too. But I want to get your thoughts on them being tested by Ruggs, because Ruggs is a young kid. We were all excited about him, especially coming in the draft. He was talked about as a target possibly for the New York Jets, but he's a guy that's all speed. I mean, his athletic ability, some of the things that he can do, again, he's had kind of an up and down season. He played a really solid game against the Raiders against I think it was Kansas City early in the season, where he had some bombs that he caught. Are you concerned that this guy who they brought in to really, take the top off the defense, are you concerned that he could burn us and burn our secondary really bad with our corners being kind of young and inexperienced?
I kind of hope he burns us, because I'm thinking about starting him in fantasy. So, that's that. But also, Ruggs is a good player. He's kind of had an up and down season, like you said. He had that great game against Kansas City, but he has just that potential to just, take the top off the defense, go deep, and really, wreak havoc there. So, it's slightly concerning, but he hasn't had the greatest season yet. But it should be interesting, how our corners play against him. Bryce Hall, Lamar Jackson, guys like that.
Yeah. It's we'll see what happens, man. Because I really think that we got to keep ourselves together and keep our tracks. But going back to the offense as well, what are your thoughts about this situation with Alex Lewis being put on the non-football injury list?
Man.
There's a lot of rumors swirling around about him having issues with gays and saying things. Also, him probably having issues with Joe Flacco as well. How do you feel about that situation, man?
Wait, so is it true that he actually said to Gase, like, I should have been gone when Jamal? Or is that actually happen?
When Jamal, that was the report. That was the report. Yeah, that was reports that that they got into it.
Man, that's funny, because Alex Lewis is the one defending Gase when Manish Mehta was like talking about that whatever with Jamal Adams, talking about, he said Gase is the problem, stuff like that. So that's kind of funny that his one guy who defended him isn't feeling that way anymore. But it's crazy. I want to see Cameron Clark playing. I'll find cool, whatever. But Cameron Clark's the guy we drafted in the 4th round. Like, people are talking about him like he's not really able to. He played tackle in college, but he kind of projects more as a guard. So I understand not playing him, just because it usually takes like a year to transition positions like that. But I just want to see him play, man.
Yeah. We'll see what happens going forward, man. My final question for you is: go ahead and give me your score, final score for the game against the Raiders.
I'm gonna say probably 28-10. Vegas, the Raiders. I keep saying Oakland, man, but I think they're coming off a tough loss. I think they're going to be motivated. A lot of Jets fans are, I feel like they're getting worried that people, pro tank guys, about the Raiders coming off didn't play well. They're coming from the West Coast, but dude, the Jets have been so bad this year that no one scares me to lose a tank at this point, except for the Jaguars or something. Which I have one question for you, actually.
Yeah, go ahead.
the Jets YouTubers that I watch, you're kind of the only guy who's anti-tank, wants to roll with Sam. I know you said you don't want to go 0-16. If we have that, number one pick lined up and into week 17 and we win, would you be upset or would you be fine with, not going 0-16?
Yeah, I wouldn't. It is what it is. If we go out there, we compete, and we end up winning the game, I wouldn't care. To be completely honest with you, I wouldn't care. If we go out there, we compete hard, and we end up somehow winning a football game, it is what it is. Like, the way it's looking, that's, probably not going to happen. But, we got to go out there, we got to do our thing. But I wouldn't be, like, massively upset and throwing stuff. No, not me at all. It just kind of is what it is. Like I said, I don't want to see us go 0-16. I don't want that. I don't want 0-16 on the record of a franchise that has had a lot of very, idiotic moments. I would just say that. A lot of bad moments. A lot of moments where you just want to cover your head in shame. Yeah. But I don't want that. But we'll see, how the season continues to go and continues to play out. Listen, Elias, I got to get back to the rest of these callers. A lot of people on the lines. Listen, man, I want to thank you for calling in. You have a good night, all right?
Yeah, man, have a good night. Take care.
All right, peace. Whew. Elias on the line, bringing his takes. We're going to continue to go to the lines here. Got a new caller here. I'm going to get to this new caller. You know what I'm saying? 8848. Give me your name. Give me where you're from. And what are your thoughts on this game that the Jets have coming up against the Raiders?
Joe, by this voice, I'm sure you don't need a name. I'm sure you don't need a name or where I'm from.
No, I just asked, how are you doing tonight? It's good to talk to you.
you. I'm bringing the heat. Hopefully, like your former co-host, you don't push me out the door or hang up on me and talk over me. And by the way, I miss you guys together, but that's another subject for another day.
Hey, creative differences. But I hear you, Shaq. I want to thank you for the love. I want to thank you for calling in. Go ahead. I'll let you go off.
I was trying to get a point out, and I couldn't. And I was saying, an elite group or whatever, the elite group of guys, like Drew Brees, the once-in-a-generation lifetime players like Drew Brees, Russell Wilson, and those guys, those guys you would take over a guy like Eli Manning. But Eli Manning has something that they don't have, and that's 2 Super Bowls. And I'm sure you know where I'm going with this. Go
ahead.
Eli Manning has 2 Super Bowls, and they weren't even won because of him. They were won because of team and coaching. You know what I'm saying? Like, and basically where I'm going with this is, I'm torn with this. Like, I don't care if we take Trevor Lawrence or whatever. I don't care if Sam stays. But my opinion is what's going to get us to wins faster. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's going to get us wins faster? And I feel like us trading the pick can get us to wins a lot faster. Trading the picks, building the team, getting rid of Adam Gase. And everybody thought Jared Goff was damaged goods. Rams wanted him out the door. Then they brought Sean McVay in. They made the Super Bowl the next year. Like, why, and Sam has made some inexcusable passes and, plays and stuff like that. But, if you're not comfortable in what you're in or, what you're doing, you're going to do stupid things or you're going to do things just lackadaisical, not saying that he's doing it in a lazy way, but he's not performing at a high level because he's possibly uncomfortable. He don't feel good with what's in front of him, Yeah. And, a lot of guys say, I said, Patrick Mahomes was bad and all of this stuff. No, he played bad in the Super Bowl. He didn't play Patrick Mahomes, in that way in the Super Bowl. His defense played well. And, his coaching wasn't up to par, but it helped. He had his running game to lean on. He had a guy to lean on in the running game, Damian Williams. If you watch the game, he helped him. You can't. This is not a one-man show, you know?
Yeah.
It's not a one-man show. Andrew Luck,
you need a team.
Indianapolis thought that generational talent, you know, thought he can win a championship by himself. He was getting beat up so much that they was leaning on him so bad that he don't even want to play anymore. Until they waited to the last year. He don't even want to play anymore. You know?
Yeah.
Like and that guy that every Jet fan say he's terrible, he's trash, he's not better than Sam, Josh Allen, you remember that guy? What do we have around him? Everybody said he was terrible.
Boy. Yeah.
What is around him? You know, like even the elite talent like Russell Wilson and Drew Brees and those guys, they won those championships. They won it because they had a team and coaching around them. Russell Wilson won because he had a defense and he had a running game. You got to build your team and coaching. Let's not forget that. You have to have a team. Next year, what makes it worse is our team is filled with one-year contracts. Our team is filled with so many one-year contracts. We don't even have a team next year, technically, if you take free agency out of here. You take free agency out of here, half of the team is not even there because everybody's on one-year deals. So you're going to delay our process by picking Trevor Lawrence and then trying to rely on free agency when nobody is going to come here. Yeah. Nobody is coming here. You think Allen Robinson is going to go from a dysfunctional situation to another? Are you crazy? Juju might not come here because Sam might be gone. So he might not come here. He want to continue winning. Like, you know, that's all I'm trying to say. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that I'm not in love with getting Trevor Lawrence or whatever. We don't know what he is yet. Let's be real. We don't know what he is yet. He come here, he's going to look the same. We're going to sit there and wait those 3 years. We're going to wait those 3 years out, and then we're going to push him out the door the same way we push Sam out the door because people want improvement by 6 wins, 9 wins the second year, and then possibly making playoffs by one game or making the playoffs outside of that one game. So that's 3 years, and then basically we're waiting 6 years to get into the Super Bowl. And then, like I said, during those 3 years, well, most likely Trevor Lawrence is probably playing bad, and then we're going to push him out the door the same way we push Sam out the door. You get what I'm saying? Joe, did I say something wrong there? Do I sound stupid?
Shaq.
Was that the worst call you ever heard before, Joe?
No, Shaq, listen, I hear your takes and I hear your points, and you make some valid points there. And I just think a lot of, you know, some fans just feel like, listen, it's just time. They see the shiny thing, and I get it. Trevor Lawrence is, you know, the next thing, you know, coming. He's the poster boy. He's gonna, you know, turn your franchise around. He's gonna do all these things. But I remember, like you said as well, just listening to your point, I remember those exact same things being said about Sam Darnold. Those exact same things. I remember people talking about how he was a franchise changer. He was a talent. He was going to come in. You never have to worry about anything. He's going to transform your building. I will agree. We've done a really bad job of building around him. And, you know, I've been an advocate, and I understand drafting Trevor Lawrence. I would not be upset if the Jets did that. But like you, and I'm going to continue to bring my take, especially as the offseason happens, when it comes forward, because that's all we're going to be talking about. I will be doing this show year-round, okay? So for those of you that think it's going to stop once the season's over, wrong, okay? I will be doing this show year-round, and we will be talking about, during the offseason, our options and things. And I'm going to be talking about the option of trading out of that pick, getting a king's ransom, and rebuilding this football team in a year, maybe 2 years, where we would be solid. And not just that, not only is my plan, okay, I'm going to just give you folks a real clue into it, because I don't like when people be, I came up with this first. No. Listen, my plan is to trade out of that pick, get a king's ransom, get 2 drafts, pick up that 5th-year option for Sam Darnold, and if he don't work out, you still have the capital to move on from his ass. Because guess what? You still got a boatload of picks. So that next quarterback that comes out that next generational talent, because there's one every year. I remember people telling me that Marcus Mariota was a generational talent. I remember people telling me, Carson Wentz was a generational talent. I remember, there's a lot of names that was generational talents, right? So whoever the next guy is that's coming out is, we'll have the capital to either trade up for him, or if we're that bad, we can stay there and get him, which we shouldn't be that bad. So we're going to definitely have to trade up for him, but it won't matter because we'll have more capital than we even need. So that's a smart idea.
Thing, Joe.
Because let me tell you something. One second, Zach, and you brought up another good point. I don't mean to break up what you're saying, but the point to keep in Sam, like you said as well, you talked about Jared Goff. I remember, like you said, Jeff Fisher, when he was with the Rams, people thought that Jared Goff was trash. They got rid of Jeff Fisher. That organization looked at him and said, we got to get you out of here. They got rid of him. They brought in Sean McVay, completely changed the way that we thought about Jared Goff. You also talked about, when you talk about, rehabbing quarterbacks, look what happened to Ryan Tannehill. Ryan Tannehill was with Adam Gase. People said he was trash. The Dolphins literally traded him for a couple picks. He goes over to, Tennessee. They just gave him a big-time deal. He's their franchise quarterback. He has the fourth highest completion rate in the history of the NFL. I thought Ryan Tannehill was trash. If you look at what John Gruden has done with Carr, does anybody remember when they were talking about getting rid of Carr? When Carr was supposed to be like the worst quarterback in the entire league, that's what I was told. He went over there, started working with Carr, completely revamped what he's doing over there. That team is competing. They need more pieces. There's things but they're competing, and no one's saying that they need to get rid of Carr now. Everybody's saying, all right, let's build around him. That's why they went and got Ruggs. They're still trying to build other things over there. They got Waller. We're facing them. So you can bring in a coach if he wants to work with a quarterback, and you can win. So, but I'll let you go ahead. Go ahead, Shaq. I'm letting you go off. Go ahead. Say what you got to say.
Yeah, no, it was something short. You were saying you was doing everything right. You was good with me. But I was saying, like, if even if we get Trevor, right? We trade Sam. A lot of people look at him as damaged goods. Basically, the highest pick we can get for Sam is maybe a third, or maybe a fourth, a third and a fourth. Would you want a third and a fourth, or a second and possibly a fourth and a third maybe, or possibly a third or a fourth? Which one that sounds better? We get more wiggle room to fill in the roster. We get a whole bunch of wiggle room to fill in that roster. Because like I said, it's depleted. Depleted. Yeah. You said it earlier. You said it earlier before I called in. You said we don't have our O-line still shaky. Our receivers is not really all there. They're okay.
Outside of Mims and Crowder.
But they we just need one more guy. We don't even have a pass rusher. We don't have a corner. Marcus May might be leaving. He's probably sick of this. Ashton Davis is learning, but we don't have these nice things. We don't have none of these things. We don't have anything. I'm trying to win. I'm just trying to win, man. I'm trying to win. We get this rebuild. We could make playoffs next year, or be one game out of playoffs. I'll be fine with that. And then the next year, boom, we could possibly be deeper in the playoffs. And we could do some things. You brought up Ryan Tannehill. Guess what? He went to a different situation, got better coaching, and he has a team around him. He got a running game with him. They got defense, and we looking for everything. We need everything. We need everything.
Pretty much.
Our running game is Frank Gore right now. Is Frank Gore on this team next year, Joe? Is Frank Gore on this team next year?
He shouldn't be. No.
Come on. I love, like you said, we love the shiny toy. We love it. But
until we break
it. We need more toys than just one. That one toy won't even have a friend. It won't have a friend. Yeah. Come on. But Joe, I know you got a question for me for this Sunday.
Yeah. I got we got to bring it back, and I got callers. I'm gonna definitely get to everybody. Please be patient. I'm telling you, I'm gonna get to everybody tonight. I know people is just going off. So Shaq, when you look at this situation, how many yards do you think Mims will have in this football game?
I like him too, man. I got high hopes for him. I think he's gonna. I think he's gonna have around 70 yards, like he's been doing, 60 something. You know, he just need to be more consistent. He just need to show up a little bit more. I understand he's young and still learning, but he just need to show up a little bit more. For me, he's doing this thing. He gives us 2 or 3 catches, but you know, I want him to get 5. You know, because he got the ability to do it. I want him to get 5, 6 catches a game. You know, I want him to do that so that way the defense really, really respects him. You know?
Yeah.
And Sam just needs to
give me your,
look for him a little bit.
Yeah, we do. We do. I think we definitely need to target him more. So give me your final score prediction for this football game.
I want to say...
Come on, Shaq. Come on, man. Give me something.
38-20, man. 38-20, man.
38-20.
Raiders.
Okay. 38-20 Raiders. All right. I respect it.
We're going to kick at least 9 points of field goals.
All right. Well, salute to you, Shaq, again. Listen, I want to thank you for calling in, man. Next time I have a show, I definitely want to hear from you, all right? You have a good night.
Oh, yeah. I got you, man. Be safe, Mr. Joe.
All right. Peace. Woo, listen, Shaq calling in. A lot of hot takes, you know what I'm saying? A lot of hot takes, and we're going to keep talking about this. We're going to keep going on. But I got to get to my guy, man. My guy, Steve. My guy, Steve, is calling in. You know, he talks that talk, and I got to hear his thoughts about this game that we got. You know what I'm saying? I got to hear his thoughts about this Raider game we got coming up against a tough football team. Steve, thank you for calling in. How do you feel about Adam Gase saying he's failed Sam Darnold?
Oh, God. I mean, what am I supposed to say at first? I mean, listen, Adam Gase just didn't fail Sam Darnold. He failed this whole entire team. He literally failed the whole entire team. It's not just Sam Darnold. It's the whole entire team he failed, Joe. It's just it's absolutely crazy, you know, just going back from last Sunday after the game against Miami when he basically lied to the team about the whole thing with the play calling. Like I said, if I was the general manager, or if I was the owner of the New York Jets, if I was listening to this press conference, I have him in my office the next day, I would have to tell him, listen, Adam, I'm sorry to say this to you. I have to tie the knot. We got to let you go because I can't have a coach that lies in front of the media about play calling like that, and that's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah. It's
just crazy. All right, Joe, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's just, you know, it's just, I look at that situation and I'm like, hey, just tell us something we don't know, Adam Gase. Us hiring him was such a bad move, and it really set us back. And I look at, you know, especially going into this game against the Raiders, there's so many questions here offensively because of him and his horrific play calling and how he handles business. And again, the guy that, you know, he's affected, he said he failed him with Sam Darnold, and I'm looking at the situation, I'm saying to myself, okay, well, this week, if you come out and you publicly say that you failed him, this week should be a week where you should open up the playbook and do anything that you possibly can to, you know, allow him to just go out there and flourish. I mean, do you think that that's something that they do this week for him, Steve? Do you think that we'll see down the field bombs? We will see, you know, kind of a different little bit of play calling to help placate what Sam does well within the offense?
No, I honestly think that's what could happen because, you know, I mean, the thing is, though, when you look at this game, I mean, I hope they do that and try to do something different. I mean, God, but the only thing is, though, and if they have to go for it on 4th and 1, no more running up the middle with Gore, but that's going to be what the most likely play is going to be, you know, middle with Gore. But okay, so let's get to more into this game. Yeah, let's get to more in this game. Now, here is the thing about the Las Vegas Raiders. You know, the Las Vegas Raiders are a team right now. They're fighting for a playoff spot right now. They're out of a playoff spot going into this week. But if you look at this team, listen, they can have that one game, you know, when they surprisingly shocked the nation when they beat the Chiefs in Kansas City. Like, that was their best win of the season. Last week, the Raiders are coming off of one of the worst games that they had against the Atlanta Falcons. They absolutely got creamed in Atlanta. And I mean, and listen, the Falcons are not a good football team either. I mean, we're worse than the Falcons, okay? But the thing is, though, when you look at this, listen, the thing is that what a disadvantage is about that the Raiders have this Sunday. I mean, listen, we've already had San Francisco, Denver, and Arizona come to the Eastern time zone this year, and obviously they played well against us. But, I mean, the Raiders in the past have always not played well in the Northeast, and especially when they've come to New Jersey to play us. Because the thing is, the Raiders, I don't think, haven't won a game in the Meadowlands area since the mid-1990s, I believe. But because the thing is, and Derek Carr, I mean, listen, Derek Carr is having a decent season this year. But the thing is, though, I got to say one thing about the coach, John Gruden. Listen, John Gruden at times can definitely open up some plays, and he can come up with some big plays. But sometimes his play calling can be absolutely atrocious. I mean, there were times in games in the past that he's had where his play calling has been off. I mean, last year when the Raiders came to MetLife Stadium last year, we absolutely destroyed them in a 34-3 game last year. I mean, listen, the Raiders, but this year, here are some things about the Raiders. Offensively, Derek Carr has some good weapons. They're not explosive weapons, but they're good weapons. I mean, his best weapon to watch out for is Darren Waller. Now, the thing that the Jets do have a break about in tomorrow's game is there is no Josh Jacobs. And the other way of how I look at this Raiders offense is, you know, Hunter Renfrow is a decent wide receiver. Nelson Aguilar is having a pretty good, decent season. Of course, you also look at the guy, Henry Ruggs, who was actually the player that was drafted after Mekhi Becton in the first round. So Henry Ruggs could definitely also be a threat, too, because he is a deep threat. But, I mean, the thing is, though, that's with the Raiders offense. But, Joe, I'll let you get a chance to talk about what I just said about the Raiders offense, and then I'll get to the Raiders defense.
Yeah, you know, listen, the Raiders offense, I think, like you said, I think you made some decent points there. I'm a little bit more worried about Ruggs than maybe some others are because we've seen, you know, things go awry this season, especially with deep shots within our secondary. But I think our young corners are up to the task, and we're going to see how they, you know, react when they're getting tested. I really want to see how the Jets defense uses Marcus May as well in this football game too. You know, I want to see, you know, are they going to bring him down there when Darren Waller comes to town? Because let me tell you something, if Waller's out there and you don't get him covered properly, it's going to be said and done because that boy is serious.
No, because Darren
I
Waller.
watch the Raiders. I don't know if people, you know, I know some people don't watch them as much as I do because I'm forced to. I'm here on the West Coast, and they are on TV all the damn time. But let me tell you something. If you don't figure out how to get him covered, particularly in the red zone, it's game over. Okay? you don't figure it out, it's said and done.
Darren Waller.
You know, I'm a little worried about that, but I want to talk to you a little bit about this defense as well. This Raiders defense is serious. Max Crosby is serious business. This is a guy we got to get blocked. When you look at the situation with our offensive line, do you think we'll be able to handle him? And are you concerned about him, you know, rushing the passer and really getting to Sam and causing issues and wreaking havoc on our offense as well?
Yeah, no, that's the thing about the Raiders defense. Now, listen, Max Crosby is pretty much the best player on the Raiders defense. I mean, after that, the Raiders defense is like their deep. Listen, their defense is not as good as the Dolphins defense was last week because the Dolphins defense is tougher than their defense is. I mean, because the thing is, the biggest weakness that the Raiders have on their defense, their secondary is absolutely atrocious this year. I mean, they definitely do give up a lot of yards per game. I mean, and they do have an issue. This is a game where I can see Denzel Mims going off in this game tomorrow against the Raiders. Let me tell you something, Joe. I want to tell you something about Denzel Mims. You know, if Sam is going to be the quarterback of the future, or if do move on from Sam after this season, and let's say we end up having the number one pick and getting Lawrence, let me tell you something. Denzel Mims is a future receiver, and Mekhi Becton is a future left tackle for us. Because let me tell you something about Mims. I got to tell you, The one thing I like about what Denzel Mims has done so far in his rookie debut this year and in the games that he's played, let me tell you, he likes to get physical with the number one corner we go up against. Like you saw when he was up against with Xavier Howard and the guy Breland from Kansas City. He even drew a penalty on Tre'Davious White back in Week 8 when we played the Bills the second time. I got to tell you something. Mims, I think Mims could definitely have a big impact tomorrow. It's just that the thing is what Sam needs to do is he definitely has to throw the ball against them. But the thing is, though, now the thing is about also with the Raiders, which is this, because this is a game that I have been reading this week that Raider fans are actually a little bit worried about this game. They are worried that this could be a trap game for them tomorrow against us because, the Jets are a team. They're desperate. They're still desperate for a win. And the thing is, though, listen, John Gruden sometimes can go out flat. Listen, there have been times during the regular season when the Raiders have had bad games when Raider fans have wanted John Gruden out. I mean, I don't know if you see that out in California, Joe, but Raider fans definitely get very good.
Yeah, there's been some games where people have definitely, been wondering, hey, what's going on? But I tell you what, John has also won quite a bit of games here too, or quite a bit of games with the Raiders as well, where, have fans excited. And again, they're still building. They're a team that's still trying to put things together, and they're finding their way. But they got some very good pieces there, especially a lot of pieces to go, move forward with too. So, there's some exciting football to be played there with the Raiders, and we have to take them seriously going into this football game. We got to be prepared. But, Steve, I'm going to get back to these calls. I got a lot of callers, man. Give me your final prediction, your final score prediction for this game against the Raiders.
Yeah, sure. So here is the thing. I think the Jets are going to give this game a very close game against the Raiders. I think it is going to be very close. However, though, Joe, I still think, unfortunately, the Raiders are still going to slide this one away. I think they will find a way to slide this away, and the Jets are going to, I think, tomorrow are going to find a way to mess it up. But listen, I could be right. I could be wrong. We'll see what happens tomorrow. I'm going to go 24 Raiders, 20 Jets tomorrow.
Okay. 24 Raiders, 20 Jets. All right. I respect that, Steve. Hey, listen, it was great speaking with you tonight. Thank you for calling in, my friend. And next time I do my show, I definitely want to hear from you.
Joe, thank you. Joe, thank you so much, man. Have a good night, man. Bye-bye.
All right, you have a good one. Listen, Steve calling in, and he's giving us his takes. I'm going to continue to go to the line. Salute to everybody. Salute to the savages in the chat. You know what I'm saying? Salute to y'all. Y'all going off. I'll get to y'all, a little bit later, but I got to keep going with these calls. I want to thank everybody for calling in. Again, please do not call in. Do not curse on my show because I will get you out of here fast, all right? Faster than Adam Gase can call Gore up the middle on 4th and 1. That's fast, all right? I'll get you out of here quick. I'm talking quick, boy. Let me tell you. So I'm going to keep going to these calls. 973, I'm coming directly to you. I want you to give me your thoughts about Sam Darnold going up against these Raiders. Do you think he's going to play a solid game here? Do you think he can turn things around and kind of, get most of the fan base that are, already kind of ready to move on for him to kind of get them to turn their heads? Is this the game where we see Sam Darnold turn it around?
Hey, Joe. Actually, about Sam Darnold, I think he may, have a okay type of game, but not too, dominant like he did last year. I think last year he threw like 200 yards with 2 touchdowns, I think. I think my prediction for today, tomorrow would be, I don't know, probably the same type of stats around that. Not too amazing, but then again, not too bad, this time around, because the Raiders defense is not, it's not a good defense. I mean, they got blown up by the Atlanta Falcons, who is not a good team.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you. This Raiders defense, like I spoke about as well earlier in the show, their secondary has some issues, but they do have a guy, Max Crosby, that I'm extremely worried about, especially when you look at our offensive line in the situation that they had. Alex Lewis is not going to be playing, so we got Pat Elfin starting. How concerned are you about Crosby taking over this football game, as a pass rusher and really just wreaking havoc?
Well, it depends on how, if Max Crosby is against, Mekhi Becton, he's probably going to be shut down like, every other player that went against Becton. But if Crosby's against like any other part of the line, I'm probably think he's going to get to Sam with
and that's what I'm thinking as well. I think that they'll move him around. I really do think that they'll move him around. I don't think they'll just have him on the left side because, again, like you said as well, which was a great point, Mekhi Becton being one of the, bright spots for our team, one of the bright spots along our offensive line. Hell, he's our best offensive lineman already. I think they'll move him over to the right side and try to, give him a go at Fant. And Fant has been very up and down this year. So I think he's going to definitely be used and kind of attack us from that spot too. But also when you look at us, offensively, I'm still kind of wondering about our running game against these Raiders. Do you think we'll be able to run the ball effectively against them?
Perine's still out, right? I think Perine's still out.
Yeah, he's still out. So it's going to be Gore, Ty Johnson, and Josh Adams. They're going to be our running backs.
Oh, God. We're going to probably give Frank Gore probably 20 carries in the game. Great.
40 carry Gore. He's getting that extension. I'm telling y'all. That man's 30-plus years old. Listen, he's just spring chicken. He's in his prime.
Personally for Frank Gore, I hope he doesn't go out like this, like with an 0-16 team. Like, I feel so bad for that guy. He's like, his kids in college were crying out loud. But personally, I think the Jets, game is going to be like it's always. Sometimes you get that little flash play with Gore, but sometimes Gore gets stuffed in the back line. I don't know. It's very inconsistent, the run game. It's up and down. Yeah. I think it's going to be the same way.
Oh. Yeah. I'm wondering, I think if we can get something going early off of the run, because, if we can move the ball that way, but the running plays have got to be more innovative, which I don't think, Gaze is going to be able to do that. No. But if they were more innovative and, I would give us a chance to really get the ball rolling as far as running the ball on the ground. But I don't know, man. But what are your thoughts about Adam Gase saying that he's failed Sam Darnold as well? How do you feel about that?
If I were Christopher Johnson, if I would have heard him, made that comment, I would have just fired him right after that. I would have said, you just, you were hired here for a reason. You were hired here to develop this guy. And now you're just giving up. You know what? Good luck to you. Don't let the door hit you on the way out.
Yeah.
But I have a question for you, actually.
Yeah, go ahead.
Joe, I have a question for you. What do you think, personally, if we get Trevor Lawrence, what personally do you think, what coach would be perfect for him, for Trevor Lawrence?
I think, it's tough, depending on, what you want to run. I know every coach would have, their own scheme and things. To me, I think it's, when we talk about getting the next coach in hand, I think it's more about traits versus scheme and all these other things. Because, again, it can vary. Guys can make adjustments, offensive coordinators, whoever you bring in. But I think you have to have a coach that understands how to build young quarterbacks, that understands how to utilize offensive talent and understands how to relate to players. And I think that's why Adam Gase definitely would not be a guy that we want to keep around here. I know you talked about firing him as well. I want him gone. But I would love to see, if we're going to Trevor Lawrence route, if that's just, the scenario that you're giving me, we're going to draft him, nothing to be said about it. I would love to see Eric Bieniemy with him. Oh, man, I would love to see that.
Definitely.
I would love to see Arthur Smith with him. I would love to see DeBoe with him. I'm big on Arthur Smith, DeBoe, Eric Bieniemy, and Greg Roman as well. I am big on those guys. I really would like those. I know people talk about Campbell and all these other guys. I'm big on that.
Greg Roman kind of scares me a little bit. I don't know why. He just gives me that. He gives me the same vibe as Adam Gase. I don't know why. Ravens fans want him gone. Actually, I mean, he, very scary.
I hear what you're saying, but I don't get that vibe. But I respect your take. But I look at it. I want guys that have been around young quarterbacks that understand how to groom them, understand how to put them in situations to succeed. That's my thing. And I think that's why it's so important that we get the right guy in here next time. Because if we don't, we're going to have major issues going forward. I'm telling you, we're talking about getting set back. Yeah, and it's going to set us back for years. So I don't want to see that at all. We got to get the right guy in here, and those are my guys. We got to make sure we get it right. But just sticking with this, because I got a lot of callers, and again, I want to thank you for calling in. It was phenomenal to speak with you. Can you give me your final score prediction for this game against the Raiders?
It highly depends. If we're talking Jets luck here, any game that the Jets would win this season, personally, I think this is the game to win.
Okay.
But, I kind of think the Raiders are going to take it. I think it's going to be ugly. I think it's going to be 14-10, kind of an ugly defensive game.
Ooh, okay. 14-10.
Raiders. Raiders are going to take it.
Okay. 14-10 Raiders. I respect that. Hey, listen, I want to thank you for calling in, my friend. The next time I have a show, I want to hear from you, man. You had a lot of great points and a lot of good takes, all right?
Thanks, Joe. I love the show.
Thank you so much, man. You have a good night.
You too.
All right, peace. Woo, let me tell you something. That was a heck of a caller right there. Phenomenal call from him. Phenomenal call. Love speaking to him. He's definitely got a call back. We definitely got to talk to him again. I'm going to keep hitting these lines, all right? Salute to my savages in the chat. Salute to them. Let me get to the savages real quick. Jet Black in the chat. Salute to you, Jet. Jet says, I waited this whole season just for Ruggs to dust our secondary. Jet, this is what I'm talking about. You see what I'm dealing with here? These dudes don't care. They don't care, man. They don't care. They'll just destroy you. It doesn't even matter, man. Salute to the savages in the chat, all my guys. Jet Black, Portway, saying Shaq, 0.5, all of y'all. Salute to all of y'all. You know what I'm saying? Everybody in the chat. Cliff Hopkins, everybody. But I'm going to get back to these lines, okay? And I'm coming to my guy, man. This is my guy right here. He calls in and he talks that talk. I'm coming to my guy in North Carolina. Listen, first off, thank you for calling in. Give me your thoughts about this game coming up against these Raiders, man. Do you think Sam Darnold will be able to play solidly in this football game?
Yes, no doubt. He has all the tools and the talent. I know his mindset has been broken with the nonsense coming from Gase. How poorly he's handled him, and obviously his supporting cast hasn't helped out a whole lot either. But I still see that's why we see those continued flashes of greatness and what he could be. Yeah, I would not be surprised. He breaks out with a game, throws for over 250 yards. Don't be surprised at that. He's got the tools to do it, but based on how our setup is and where his mindset is right now, I think he definitely has regressed. I don't think he's quitting, but I think with his state of mind, he's not in the best state of mind, with the team losing and, this
he's mentally exhausted.
The organization, he's just exhausted. That's what I think biggest thing ailing Darnold. I've always liked it from the start. Some people like him, some people don't. And it's not on a personal tip, it's just what they think his capability is. I don't think he lacks anything. He just needs a better supporting cast, better coaches, and see if they can get him structured, get him an actual quarterback coach, maybe somebody like a Chad Pennington to sit down, study film with him and talk with him, build that camaraderie, had like he had with Josh McCown. I think in his mind mentally, I think he missed him. He won't say publicly, but I think he missed him,
Yeah. I think he does as well. And for me going into this football game, I got some questions, especially along the offensive line. You look at this situation where Alex Lewis being put on the non-injury football list. Pat Elfin starting. We saw him have a miserable game last game when he was playing. There's a lot of concerns. And we're going up against a Raiders team with Max Crosby. This dude gets after it. Like he don't play no games. How concerned are you about not just Crosby, but Farrell as well, really wreaking havoc on us and being able to get to Sam banging him around? Do you think that this offensive line will be able to keep Sam protected at all?
Yeah, that's questionable. I think if Gase has any common sense, he better at least make an attempt, even if they stop it, to come out and run the ball and attempt to keep the defense honest and not let them key in so easily on Donald. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
they're able to key in so easily on Darnold. I'm concerned about him, re-injuring his shoulder, landing in a bad way,
Yes. You are speaking absolute facts. Do you think we'll be able to run the ball effectively?
I think if Michael P. Ryan is healthy and they go on and run him, I think, yes, we might be able to run him a little bit. If they stick to it and be persistent, they may be able to get it going at some point in the game, be able to get in a rhythm and get some momentum and start to run the ball. Try to line up and keep it simple. Try to run behind Becton and see if they can stack it and stop it, and just keep going to it until they can break that up a little bit and run the ball. Because I think if they can run it and just keep them honest, then maybe Darnold can work off that a little bit, complete some passes, get some first down, get his confidence up a little bit, and start feeling better about himself and his circumstance,
Yeah. When you look at this Raiders, when you look at us on defense, though, and you look at this Raiders offense, what offensive weapon that the Raiders have concerns you the most going into this football game?
Obviously, it's any passing attack against our corners, even though I know Poole has been good for us. Bryce Hall looks like a promising prospect for an undrafted. The rest of the secondary looks like it's in flux. I like Marcus May. I always have from the start, even though he lurked in the shadows of Jamal Adams. And Ashton Davis, he's not ready. He's being thrust in there a year sooner than I was anticipating when we first took him. Some people liked that pick. Some people didn't like it. I was okay with it because I was under the mindset that, Jamal's, of course, going to be with us, and we were using it situational duty, where we could maximize his strength, maybe put him in more favorable situations. And you look at how that fell through. That didn't happen. Why not trade Jamal, and now he's thrust out there a lot sooner. And he's getting exposed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Looks like he's struggling in coverage.
Yeah, I mean he has at times. I remember that game against Tyreek Hill where Tyreek turned him all the way around. But I mean that is Tyreek Hill,
Yeah, that's right.
But
I guess he can turn anybody around.
You're right though. He has
going against that caliber of weapons. We talking about Kansas City and them.
Yeah, but he's had some plays where you're like, "Ooh, Ashton Davis, I don't know about you," but he's also had some plays where he's able to do some things. So you know what I'm saying?
That's right. That's right.
Like you said, and you made a great point. He's young. He's been thrust in there. We're going to figure out continuing to go forward. He's going to get his experience.
That's right.
So my final question for you is going to be, you look at the situation against this Raiders team. We got to get the Carr at all costs. At all costs. Do you think Quentin Williams
the way it looks like
the
with
pocket
the
in this
now,
game and get some
Williams
sacks?
is really starting to come off. It looks like we can bank on him to collapse the pocket. Anything else is just a bonus. If we can get anything from the edge, I think we can sack him and put him down based on how Quentin is playing on the interior.
Yeah.
I think we can possibly pressure him, maybe get some pass deflections, maybe get him, make him get the ball out there a little sooner than he wants to, break up his rhythm a little bit, and kind of mess him up just a little bit. But we don't have any edge rush to speak of. We haven't had any edge rush even going back when Rex coached us. A lot of stuff Rex
we ain't had an edge rusher
since
John Abraham.
That's
we
right.
ain't had one since John Abraham.
Ridiculous.
No.
That is ridiculous.
That's the facts.
Since John
Abraham.
That's the
facts. That's the facts. We had one year where Aaron Maben. When Rex made him look like he was like, whoa, and then he was gone. But actually, what's crazy about that situation with Aaron Maben? We actually cut him and then brought him back during the season. He was able to manufacture some pass rush after our defense couldn't get to, the quarterback. I mean, we could because we were sending blitzes. But when we brought him back, it became a bit better. But, after that, nothing. I mean, we haven't had a pass rush in John Abraham. It's insane. But let me get your final score prediction for this game against the Raiders.
I think it's going to be 30, maybe 32-16. I think Darnold might do a little something before things collapse the way it's been doing, going the last several weeks. Gase's tendency is his first drive or so, he'll get off to a fast start, and then things sort of unravel as it goes. So I think it's going to be a 32-16 score. Donald will probably put together an early first drive or touchdown, and then things will kind of unravel and get uneasy. You'll see some incompletions, and then you'll see him tend to regress back into his old habits, making some unadvised throws, and he might avoid some picks, and at some point he's going to throw a bad one, and somebody's going to hold on to it,
Yeah. Well, listen, I want to thank you for calling in, man. It's always great to speak to you. I definitely need to talk to you, when I have my next show, man, please continue to call in because you're phenomenal, man.
Oh, yeah. I didn't get the opportunity to hit you last week. The time was kind of messed up, but I had to try to get you this week. I've been free and back on my normal schedule. Well, I look forward to getting into it as we go along in the season and then go over some future projections as far as what you think would happen, what you would do in terms of the off-season, free agency, the draft, and head coach.
Yeah, for sure. We're definitely going to be talking about that. So I got to get to these callers. I got quite a bit. So, man, listen, I want to thank you again for calling in, and I want you to have a good night, all right?
Yeah, and thanks to you for taking my call. And you take care, buddy, as always.
Okay. All right, you have a good one.
You.
Phenomenal call. That's my guy from North Carolina, man. I'm talking. Listen, he talks that talk. I ain't going to lie to you. He talks that talk. He knows his Jets. This is a guy that I'm saying I love talking to him, and again, everybody listening, I want to thank you all for, calling in and listening. We're going to continue on with these lines, and let me tell you something. It's going to be a year-round show, all right? We're going to go into free agency. We're going to go into the draft. We're going to talk about the team. We're going to keep it on going. So, you know what I'm saying? Like and subscribe, and if you're in the chat, you know what I'm saying, like that video. You know what I'm saying? Like that video. I'm on YouTube, Long Beach Joe Jets. You know what I'm saying? If you're listening to me on Blog Talk, that's why I live stream, baby. Like that video, like my stream while it's up as well. You know what I'm saying? And subscribe, turn on your notifications. So I'm going to keep on getting to these calls. I got some new callers here. I got some people calling in. I want to hear from you again. Please call in. You call in. Do not curse on my show. I'll get you out of here. I'm telling you, I'll get you out of here fast. So 502-502, I'm coming directly to you. And I want you to give me your thoughts on this Jets upcoming game against the Raiders. How are you feeling about the Jets going into this football game? Caller, are you there? Yeah. How are you doing today? Thank you for calling in. How are you feeling about the Jets going into this football game? Oh, you got nothing for me. You got nothing for me. I understand it. It's tough. It's tough being a Jets fan right now. You know what I'm saying? I think he's a little scared. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that was Adam Gase. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Gase, was that you? Was that you, Gase? Keep it real with me. You know what I'm saying? You failed Sam Darnold. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully he can call back in. You know what I'm saying? You got to get it together, Gase. I'm going to keep going to these lines. 973, I'm coming directly to you. I want you to give me your thoughts on these Jets going into this Raiders football game. How are you feeling about the Jets?
Joe.
And do you think that – hey, how's it going? I want you to give me your thoughts. What's going on with this team right now? How do you feel about Sam Darnold going into this game?
I don't think – well, look, I mean, it's been a horrific year. Well, it's been a horrific year and a half since he had, of course, the first mono and then the ghost episodes, which was caused probably by the mono. And, I really did have high hopes, for them this year, considering there was maybe a surge late last season. But, they lost, close games at the beginning, and then from that they just lost their composure. And, I was going through a list today on my show, which I hope you get a chance to call at some point. They were going over a list of coaches that were, quote-unquote, in the hot seat. One has already been gone, thank goodness. Patricia, he's out. So, but guess who's now moved into the number one spot of maybe getting fired come the end of this month?
It's got to be Gase.
You got it. The number one on the list. And that will be a blessing when that happens. I'm not saying if, I'm saying when, because he has got to go. I mean, in the time he's been here, what has he done? Absolutely nothing. And a lot of people are saying, where does it begin? Oh, was it the coach's fault? Was it the player's fault? Well, look, personally, I think you both should share the responsibility because, you're only as good as the team you coach, first of all. So you're responsible for that. But at the same time, the players, I don't think they're giving it their all, and I think they are purposely trying to lose games now. But even if you do go 0-16, Trevor Lawrence does not want to play for the Jets. He's like, if I get chosen by them, I'd rather go to Siberia. Okay, maybe not Siberia. You get the idea.
Yeah. Listen. He hasn't said that. He has not said that. Maybe he's thinking of who knows, but he has not said that publicly. But I do understand, your sentiments where you're saying, I do understand your take where you're saying, hey, what young QB will want to come into this situation, with everything in flux that we have going on. hopefully we move on from Adam Gase, so that'll be one problem relieved, but you still got to figure things out going forward and figuring out how to put pieces around him. I do understand, that take. But sticking with this game and the situation with this football team, you look at this, I'm a little bit worried about our defense going into this football game because the Raiders, they have some guys that can move. Like, they have some guys that can make some plays. How concerned are you about our young secondary, particularly our young corners? Our young corners in our secondary getting roasted, by this Raiders, wide receiver corps because they got some guys that can move and shake.
Our defense is a big problem. That's a catastrophe. I mean, look how much they give up in a game.
Yeah.
They're the worst team on defense.
Look, I hear you, man. I hear you.
That's the statistic. They're the worst on defense. They're 32nd out of 32. And their offense isn't much better either.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough, man. It's tough,
30th out of 32. So that's not much better either. So what I thought was good on offense is just as bad as the defense, but the defense is the worst in the whole league, period.
Yeah. So what is your final score prediction for this game
game
against the Raiders? What's your final score prediction?
110-3. Again, sarcasm. No, I think it's going to be the Raiders aren't that great either, so this might be, this might be a defense, a bit of a struggle on the offense. So, I think it's going to be a rather low-scoring game. I'm thinking it's going to be, maybe 13-10.
Okay. 13-10. Listen, that is low. Listen, I want to thank you for calling in. Can you give everybody the information for your show? You know what I'm saying, so everybody can call in.
All right.
When you host your stuff.
Okay, it's called thejetsarehorrendous.com. No. It's called the sarcasm, folks. That's all it is. Sarcasm. It's called the Enhanced Sports Show. And remember, that's with an E, not with an I at the beginning. Enhanced, not in. Okay? Enhanced. The Enhanced Sports Show. We're on your East Coast time, right?
West Coast. We'll go ahead.
Oh, you are. Okay. Well, it's 2 p.m. on the West Coast.
Time,
2 p.m. on the West Coast, 5 p.m. East Coast time. We're on Saturdays. The number to call is 512-543-4662. I'll repeat that again. 512-543-4662. And we cover almost everything in the world of sports. Of course, football, NFL, and college. If there's going to be an XFL next season, we might cover that too. Maybe. We cover college basketball, pro basketball, baseball. We'll even cover kayaking if you like. So if you get a chance, and that's no joke because we also like to get the people who call their expertise on a particular sports subject. So if you have a particular sport you have expertise in, I would love to hear it.
Yeah.
So
all right. Well, listen, man. I want to thank you for calling in, my friend. I got to get back to the rest of these callers, but I want to thank you for calling in. It was great to speak to you.
Thank you. Remember, lose the name. Sports is my game.
Absolutely. You have a good night.
Thank you, Joe.
Ooh, it was phenomenal to speak to him. We're going to continue to go with these lines. I know I got a lot of people, on hold. Please, again, be patient. I will get to everybody. I'm coming next, 973. I'm coming to you, and then after that, it's going to be 715. I'm definitely coming to you, folks. We're going to get to these lines. We're going to get to everybody, I promise. So 973, I'm coming directly to you right now. New caller. Give me your name. Give me where you're from, and what are your thoughts about the Jets going into this game against the Raiders?
My name's Devon. I'm from New Jersey, North New Jersey.
Okay. Newark. Okay, yeah. Let's go.
And my thoughts, to be honest with you, I can't. I don't see us winning. It'll just be. I've been seeing the same thing this whole season. We're not going to win.
Yeah.
I want them to play. I would like for Sam to play well. I'm still for Sam. I got the Sam jersey. I wear it every Sunday. I would like for him to play good, but I just think, he's mentally exhausted. He's just tired.
Yeah. Yeah. First off, Devon, I want to thank you for calling in, my friend. It's good to hear from you. And salute to everybody in Newark. You know what I'm saying? I got some friends and family out there. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. But, I love Newark. So, but I hear what you're saying. At the end of the day, Sam does look mentally exhausted. He looks beat up. I mean, things have not gone well this season. And, it's taken a toll. But I think that we can turn it around. We just got to get it together. And I think the first step is our coaching has got to get better. We've got to step up. This is a game where I think that they should open up the playbook and really allow him to throw the football down the field and launch it down there. I mean, what are your thoughts about that? Do you think that this is a game where we could see Perryman have a big time impact with some deep shots possibly if the offensive staff, Adam Gase, Darryl Loggins, open up the playbook for Sam?
Yeah, especially because the Raiders, their secondary is terrible. That's trash.
Yeah, they have
Mims and Perryman, what Perryman been doing this, and Denzel Mims been coming on. I expect Mims to have a touchdown. Mims, he has to have more than four targets this game. I want to see like 6 to 8 targets from him.
Oh, that's a fact right there. How concerned? Go ahead.
I wanted to like get your thoughts on something because like. Mm-hmm. I feel like it's nowhere. We can only go up from here. So whether it's Trevor, Justin Fields, or if it's keeping Sam, I'm with all of it. As long as Adam Gase not here.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. We can only go up from here. That's a great analogy for life. We can only go up from here.
We can only go up.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Only right.
Yeah. Look, I hear what you're saying. And look, we can. There's nowhere else to go. You can't get any lower than the bottom. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You can't get any lower than that. But look, yes. I think we could definitely go up for here, but I think we have to make significant improvements in this franchise. And our coaching staff, the next guy we've got to bring in here has got to make sense. He's got to be a world different than Adam Gase. You cannot hire some bum, because Peyton Manning told you to do it. You can't do that. You got to make sure that you get the right offensive personnel in here as well, regardless of whether you're moving forward with Sam Darnold or you're starting, you want to kind of start it over with Trevor Lawrence. Whatever you do, you got to get offensive personnel to put around your quarterback in an offensively driven league. I mean, it's ridiculous not to do that. But I think we have a chance. We just got to fix, what we've been doing, and we've got to change, how we've handled this franchise so far. But just sticking with this game, sticking with this situation, man, give me your final score prediction for this game against the Raiders, man. How do you think it ends up?
I would say I can only see us scoring. I'll give us 21 to 34. 21 to 34.
21 to 34.
Raiders. Raiders.
Oh, damn. I thought I had you, but whatever. No. Look, I respect it, Devon. Listen, I'm going to keep getting to these calls because I got a lot of callers and I'm going to get to everybody. But, Devon, it was great speaking to you, man. Next time I have a show, bro, call in. You're phenomenal. You know your Jets.
I thank you. You too. You see.
All right, thank you. You have a good night, man. Whew, man, listen, Devon calling in. That guy was a damn good caller. You know what I'm saying? He spoke his mind, and he had what he had to say about his Jets. We can't go up, we can't go anywhere but up from here. Yeah, that's the truth. I like his positivity. Can't go anywhere but up. You know what I'm saying? That's one way to look at it. That's one way to look at it, and I respect it. But I'm going to keep getting to these callers. 715, I'm going to come to you. 715, I'm coming directly to you, your new caller. I want you to give me your name, where you're from, and how do you feel about these New York Jets going into this game against the Raiders?
What's up, Joe? I called, I think, 3 days ago, the Dolphins-Jets one.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Call back. So how's everything going with you? Thank you for calling in. How are you feeling about this game? How are you feeling about it?
I mean, I see that the Jets. I feel like the Jets could win this game, but I just don't think they will. I mean, the Raiders are on a tear this year. John Gruden was a great hire. I was not a fan of it, but paid off. He turned Derek Carr into his 2016 season. I think they're just going to romp the Jets. But I feel like the Jets could have a chance. I feel like Darnold, like many people have said before in the show, I feel like he's going to have a good game, but I just don't feel like the Jets are going to pull this one off.
Wow. How many yards do you think Darnold throws for in this football game?
Somewhere between like 130 and 215.
Okay. How many touchdowns do you think he'll have?
2 or 1. I think he's going to walk away with no picks, which I know is like crazy, but I'm going to root for the guy, you know. He's had a tough year this year.
Yeah. What do you think about the idea of them opening up the playbook and allowing him to kind of throw the football downfield a bit more, especially when you look at the Raiders secondary? Do you think that we'll be able to, take advantage of that? Could you see some deep bombs with Perryman or even some deep bombs with Mims as well really working out in this football game?
If they allow it to happen, I think that Mims would be a great deep threat, fast guy. He'll get it. He's kind of like Tyreek Hill. Not exactly like Tyreek Hill, but kind of the same build. So I mean, if it works, if it's our last resort, definitely I think it should work. I'm look optimistic this game. Can't really look any lower than we've already gone, other than 0-16. But I think it'd work. I mean, I think it would definitely give Darnold some confidence. Like, they're starting to believe in me a little more. I think his confidence has been pretty bad this year. So,
Yeah. What are you concerned about this Jets offensive line? Because let me tell you something, Max Crosby, Farrell, they got some guys that can get after the passer. Do you think that we'll be able to protect Darnold in this football game?
No.
Oh.
No, I don't think so. They played awful against the Dolphins, so no, I don't see that happening at all. But it's hard. Like you said many times, it is hard.
Yeah, it is, man. What are your thoughts about Quinnen Williams? Do you think that Quinnen Williams gets at least 2 sacks in this football game? How do you think we get to Carr?
We just got to expose their offensive line. They got is that center still there? That Hudson guy? I don't know if he's hurt or not. I haven't really been paying attention to this year.
Yeah, I think Hudson is still there. I think they're backup. Hudson is still there right now. He's definitely still there. So he's still playing there. Still got Hudson. They got offensive weapons again. Waller, Renfro, all those guys. Ruggs now is out there too. So the Raiders, they have some guys, but that offensive line is still pretty solid. It's decent.
We just can't line up. I guess we're gonna have to go 4 front. So just leave the center alone and try to get Quinn on one of the guards. Last time I remember, the guards aren't very good for the Raiders, so try to expose their weak guards, whether that be right or left, and don't try to just get Quinn right up against this like very good center, probably one of the best in the league right now. I mean, he's gonna get exposed. I mean, he's his second year, but if they do 5, I hope Quentin the best. He might surprise a lot of people. I mean, he's been playing great this year, and I do think he's gonna get a couple sacks. 2, 3, maybe 1. Definitely he's going to walk away with at least 1 sack. But, yeah.
How concerned are you about our young secondary against, again, guys like Henry Ruggs that take the top off the defense? You make a mistake, you blow a coverage against him, he is gone. I mean, are you worried about that with our corners, being young and inexperienced?
Our corners have been playing pretty good this year, I think. Understatement, but I think the corners haven't been playing awful this year up to this point. They played pretty good against the Dolphins until the fourth quarter. Kept the game at least a little bit close, and then they let up that touchdown and sealed our fate. But I definitely think that if we can do something against Ruggs, I mean, he's a big guy, so maybe get a corner and safety, possibly double-team him if it's getting bad. If he keeps beating our guys, try to double-team him.
Yeah, I think that's the game plan. Can you give me your final score prediction for the Jets versus the Raiders?
34 Raiders, 16-13 Jets, one of those.
Ooh, okay. 34, the 13 or 34-16. I hear you, man. I hear you. Listen, I want to thank you for calling in, my friend. It was phenomenal to speak to you. Next time I have a show, please call in, man. You know your stuff.
Hey, Joe, can I say one thing?
Yeah.
One quick thing. So,
yeah, go ahead.
I saw this New York Post. I just read it, and some guy said that the Adam Gase was the 20th ranked coach in the NFL. He put him above Pete Carroll and Bill Belichick, and I just have to say, that's real. It is real. It is real. I'm not lying. I just in a fabrication.
This is insane.
This is real.
Oh my God. Look, respect to whoever wrote that. I wish that man nothing but the best. Whoever wrote that, but no.
I mean, he obviously has to watch the Jets this year if he thinks that Adam Gase is the 20th ranked offensive genius head coach.
Yeah, that's insane. Listen, well, I want to thank you for calling in. You have a good night, my friend.
You too, man. See ya.
All right, we're good one. Woo! Listen, whoever wrote that, you know, I respect everybody, but that's insane. That's insane. So again, I want to thank everybody for calling in. It was phenomenal. So many callers, so many new callers as well tonight. It was great to speak with everybody. Talk about this team going into this game against the Raiders. Boy, oh boy. We got another new caller coming in. You know what? I'm gonna keep going with these lines. You know what I'm saying? We're coming to the close of the show, but 678, I'm coming directly to you. I want you to give me your thoughts. First off, I want you to give me your name, where you're from, and then I want you to give me your thoughts on this game coming up against the Raiders. How do you feel about the Jets going into this football game?
Well, first of all, what's going on, man? This is June from Atlanta. You remember me from last time we spoke? Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Yep, June.
Now,
salute to you, my man. Thank you for calling in. It's always good to speak to you. Go ahead and give me your thoughts, my friend.
I think in the Jets way, I mean, because we are Jets, and, you know, you've been through it. I'm a little older than you, so I've been through a little bit more than you have. We're going to blow it tonight. We're gonna blow it and win.
Okay, so you think the Jets get a W. All right. So
unfortunately,
what do you think Sam Darnold looks like in this game? What do you think Sam's going to look like?
He's going to look like the same way he's been looking, which is horrible. But the defense is going to pull something out. Or, you know, knowing the Raiders, knowing some stupid call that John Gruden might pull, might be a fumble or something, and we'll end up winning it. I'm telling you, we're just going to end up winning it. We're probably going to be in the game by field goals, but at the end of the day, the defense is going to make a play, and we're going to end up blowing it.
Okay. How do you feel about Adam Gase saying publicly that he failed Sam Darnold? What are your thoughts on that, man?
Well, I listened to the interview about 2 or 3 times, man. He didn't technically say he. He said we. Go back and listen to it. Yeah, listen, I can't stand the guy, believe me. But if you go back and listen to it, you will hear this man say we failed him.
He said, I have not done a good enough job.
I have not done a good job, and we failed him. He said, and we failed him. He didn't say me. He didn't say I failed him. He said I didn't do a good enough job, but we failed him. Come on, man. You look. I hope we keep him, because if we do get past this Raider game, we definitely don't have another win in the song. So I'm good with that. But
so you're looking to tank. You're a guy that's ready to lose out the rest of the season.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Okay.
I mean, I'm tired of this, man. Look, I've been a Jets fan for over 30 plus years, man. I've seen Browning, Nagel, the list goes on and on. Rick Meyer, Pat Ryan, Ken O'Brien. The last good quarterback we had that was decent was Ken O'Brien. This has been all bums.
Yeah. It's been bad.
And I can't really blame it on them because Geno Smith might have panned out, but once again, it was a defensive coordinator who was a head coach who really didn't care about the offense.
Yeah. Well, when you look at this situation, just coming back. Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I know people that are big about the tank. I get it. You know, I don't want to see us lose every single game, but I understand your point and where you folks are coming from, you know, with the way you look at this situation. But getting back to this game against the Raiders, you know, I'm worried. I'm a little bit worried, particularly about our offensive line. Max Crosby and even some of the other pass rushers that they have really wreaking havoc, are you as worried as I am about them getting to Sam early, especially with guys like Pat Elfin? We saw Fant as well at right tackle struggle. How do you think that that'll work out, man? Do you think they'll be able to protect Sam adequately in this football game?
Look, see, I used to coach the offensive line back in high school, right? Now,
okay.
Let me explain to you. We have a weak point that's in that line. It's coming from Van Routen. Van Routen, yeah. Right. They're trying to help him out. They're trying to help him out, which is the reason why our center, McRoven, he's looking bad. He's looking bad because he's trying to help him out. I mean, I don't understand what was the purpose of picking him up, and not just that. But I'm sitting here saying, why not give the rookies a shot? Clark, I mean, is something wrong with him? Is he hurt? I don't know what's going on.
Well, I know that Cam Clark. Yeah, Cam Clark is a guy that I'm interested in seeing at some point during the season. I don't know why we haven't, especially again with Alex Lewis being put on that non-injury football list. I don't see why we're not seeing Cam Clark, but I think they're going with Pat Elfin in this football game, and it kind of is what it is. But you're asking a question that a lot of other people are asking as well. Where are the young guys in our offensive line, particularly Clark? Why hasn't he been put in a position to see what he has and what he doesn't have? You know what I mean?
Now, to answer that Alex Clark thing, did you know the reason behind that? You know the reason why he's on the inactive list, we should call it. Do you know why?
Well, yeah, Cam Clark, he's just in there. That's just the same thing. And people are asking the kind of the same thing against Morgan as well. People are wondering.
No, Alex Lewis is not playing because Alex
Lewis. We know there's been rumors that Alex Lewis said something with Adam Gase. They got into it, and he told Adam Gase, I should have left with Jamal Adams. There's also another rumor as well saying that he had an issue with Joe Flacco. That he had an issue with Joe Flacco in a parking lot. So there's been some rumors swirling. Nothing has been like concrete confirmed. There's a lot of things floating around. But nonetheless, he's on the non-injury football list. And, those rumors make sense because there's nothing wrong with them. And then all of a sudden, boom, he's on that list and there's some issues. So, yeah, but like I said, Cam Clark is the guy we just drafted. We need to see him, at some point during this season, especially when you got a guy like that. So, we're all wondering, man, the way this football team is. Yeah, Morgan too. That's, a lot of people are saying that as well. So we'll see how it goes. But can you give me your final score prediction for this game against the Raiders, my friend?
I'm going to say 14-17. Jets going to mess up. I'm telling you, they're going to blow the tank. They're going to blow the tank.
14-17 Jets?
Yes.
14-17 Jets.
14-17 Jets. Unfortunately.
That's what I'm
not happy.
That's what I'm talking about right there. Listen, thank you for calling in. It was great to speak to you tonight. It's phenomenal. You have a good night, my friend.
You do the same, man. I'll speak to you later, Joe.
All right. I'll talk to you later. Safe. Next time I have a show, you definitely need to call in. You have a good night.
You got it, brother.
Oh, June calling in. Phenomenal. He took those Jets. He stuck his chest out, and he said, you know what? I'm taking them. All right? Let's go. All right. You know what I'm saying? Let's go. Let's take these Jets. All right? That's what I like to hear. You know what I mean? A little something. So, again, I want to thank everybody for calling in. We're coming towards the end of the show. I got to end the show in a second, folks. I'm going to give you my little breakdown. I'm a little worried about the Jets going into this football game. I'm concerned about our protection of Sam Darnold. Everybody said, tonight, I'll echo those sentiments as well, that Sam is, man, let me tell you something. He looks exhausted. He looks physically beat up, and he looks mentally exhausted. But I think that this is a time where he's going to be able to kind of pull something together. You know what I'm saying? And I think he's going to go out there, and if he's protected correctly, I could see Sam really making some plays, particularly some deep shots, because this Raiders secondary can get hit. Let me tell you, they could give up a couple yards. You know what I mean? Mims needs to be a big part of this, a big part of the game plan. He needs to get his targets. Perryman, deep shots, he needs to get his targets. I even think Crowder has some matchups that he could definitely win as well. Defensively, I am very, very worried about our young secondary, particularly against Henry Ruggs. And I know he's been very up and down this year, but let me tell you, when he's on, he is on. He had a game against Kansas City where he looked very good. He's a big-time deep threat. He's a guy that can attack you. We need to, make sure that we have him accounted for. Waller's another guy as well. I want to see Marcus May on Waller, and I want to see Marcus May, try his best to take him out of the game. I do think that you can double Waller from time to time as well. So we'll probably see a linebacker underneath. They might even bracket him just to make sure that he doesn't go off. But I think a big part of the game is keeping him from going off, as well as these Raiders running backs, too, that come out the backfield. These Raiders running backs, Booker and Jalen Richard, Jalen Richard is a guy that definitely comes out the backfield and catches the football. We've got to watch them, too, because they're going to definitely get after it. So with all that said, I am taking the Raiders to win this football game. I'm taking the Raiders to win. I'm going to go 17-10 Raiders. 17-10 Raiders. I think it's a close game. I think it's kind of a dirty game, but I'm taking the Raiders, all right? It is what it is. I'm taking them. All right, guys, come on. I'm just trying to speak my piece. You know what I'm saying? Say what I got to say. I'm taking the Raiders. It sucks, but all right, I'm taking the Raiders. I'm not going to keep competing and going back and forth with y'all. Y'all just booing me every chance. So, listen, I want to thank everybody for calling in. I want to apologize to anyone that dropped. I got to everybody, So I want to thank everybody again for calling in. It was phenomenal to speak to everyone. Listen, I'm the man of the people. I'm here for the people. Let me shamelessly promote my Facebook page. Everyone go on Facebook, search Long Beach Joe. Like that page. My content's up there. Go ahead and give it a listen. Message me. I'll message you right back. I love going back and forth with folks about this football team. Also, when you get some feedback, I love hearing about what you folks think I do here on the Long Beach Joe Show. I'm also on Twitter as well at YoungJ00030. Listen, you want to follow me? Go ahead and follow me. I'll follow you right back. You want to troll me? No issues. I'm the troll that lives under the bridge, and I will, troll you right back. And I'll have my Darnold jersey on as well. I wear it at all times. I want to see him come out and look confident, go out in this football game, and really look solid in this game as well. But I'll have my Darnold jersey on regardless. So you want to troll me, we can go back and forth. You can also follow my show's Twitter page as well at The Long Beach Joe on Twitter. Hit me. I'll hit you right back. I love going back and forth with everybody, regardless, whether it's about, the Jets or just football in general. Love, sharing time and again, trading ideas with people on the timeline about the roster and all type of moves that we can make. And I'm also on YouTube as well, all right? Everybody watching me on Blog Talk Radio or wherever you're hearing this from, go to YouTube, search Long Beach Joe Jets. Long Beach Joe Jets on YouTube. All my content's up there. Go ahead and give that a listen. Go back and forth with me in the comments as well. If you want to troll me, I'll troll you right back. Hit that subscribe, turn on your notifications for that. And as always, people, when you see me in person, all right, it is arms out, chest open, free hugs for everyone. Free hugs for everybody. They will cost you absolutely nothing, okay? The hugs will always remain free, especially in this time. So you folks have a good one. Peace out, everybody.